Joining us right now is KT McFarland, Fox News national security analyst, and our weekly guest here. Hey, KT, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And the Secretary of State, John Kerry, he celebrated his New Year in the Holy Land over in Israel, and he came back, he said that the peace between Israel and Palestinians is not mission impossible. Boy, that is really lowering the bar, is it not? Is it? My sense is.
Here's the thing.
My sense is that we're pressuring Israel to do a whole lot of stuff here, and I don't see the Palestinians doing much to broker peace.
Well, for sure, and that's been the approach of this administration, which is to distance itself from Israel, to look like it's changing sides in the Middle East away from the Sunni states and Israel, and in favor of Iran and the Shiite states, whether it be in Iraq or Iran or Syria. You know, it's the whole area. It's the United States is leaving the region and flipping sides, and essentially, when you cut away all the little bit of this and a little bit of that, is essentially leaving Iran as the alpha dog in the Middle East. So what is Kerry up to? I don't know. I mean, to me, it's like you got a house and the roof is leaking, and you've got termites in the walls, and the basement's flooded, and what are you going to do? You're going to go redecorate the pool house. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Some people feel, and Kerry and Secretary Clinton before her were, and certainly President Obama feels that as long as if you could only get the Israelis and the Palestinians to agree to peace, every other problem in the Middle East would go away. So it's the first step in the piece in the puzzle. I think it's the last piece, because even if you were able somehow to negotiate between those two parties, Israel and the Palestinians on the West Bank, that's not all the Palestinians, and the Palestinians may not determine their own destiny. It would be such a fragile peace that one suicide bomber in a mall in southern Israel is going to do the whole thing undone, or some kind of an incident in the West Bank is going to have the whole thing fall apart. So I think it's redecorating the pool house. I think it's probably important to have plans to redecorate the pool house, but let's focus on the really important issues in the Middle East, which is Iraq, Al-Qaeda coming back to Iraq, Egypt and the security in the Sinai Peninsula, Iran's nuclear weapons program. Are the other countries in the region going to get nuclear weapons of their own, as Iran is perceived to be cheating on the deal or have gotten the better of Obama on the deal over nuclear weapons?
Let me ask you about Edward Snowden. We did a little call-in segment earlier and asked the question, should he be granted clemency, as the New York Times has suggested? Should he be granted, the opportunity to return to this country? Because there have been some court cases that have pointed out that maybe what the NSA was doing was not constitutional, and we wouldn't have even known about any of that had it not been for Edward Snowden. What do you think about that?
I think it's important to separate what Snowden revealed from how he did it. What he revealed was important for the American people to know. How he did it is, heroes do not go to Moscow and don't go to Russia and China. They stay home and face the music. Traitors go to those places. And if he had really been serious about wanting to reveal to the American people the abuses of the intelligence community and the White House, what he should have done is go to a friendly senator on Capitol Hill. They would have lined up to be the people who were championing Edward Snowden. We would consider him a great hero today. But instead, he didn't do it that way. He took the stuff like a bank robber and left. Now, is it important that we know that stuff? You bet, because certainly somebody like me who used to think it was important to collect all sorts of data and have the federal government able to protect us, I've now got big questions about is the danger that the federal government is going to be in a position of abusing that power. We've seen that they've abused power, whether it's the FBI investigating journalists, whether it's the IRS going after conservative groups, whether it's the Benghazi issue, which brings us right back to the New York Times, and you've got to wonder what motivation do all the people at the New York Times seem to have? I mean, whose side are they on?
Well, yeah, and excuse me, and then when you get the New York Times saying let's give this man amnesty or some sort of clemency, they're certainly their motives are called into question, considering they profited from a lot of these things.
Well, and also, look, Snowden's not coming back. He's not coming back to face jail time. He's going to stay where he is. I'm not sure the Russians really want him, but he's going to stay where he is and continue to cause havoc. So what are you doing by saying, okay, we're going to grant you clemency if you should decide to come back?
Yeah.
Well, what you're doing is basically saying to anybody else who wants to be a hero in their own minds like Snowden, go do it, don't worry, we're never going to come get you. we're never going to have to pay any penalty for doing what you're doing. You can be a national folk hero or an international folk hero. So I think it's a mistake. Now, does he have more to reveal? Probably. Is he going to never come home? Probably never come home. Is it important that we know this stuff? You bet it is. But I think that the idea that you grant him clemency and then thereby everybody who comes after him clemency is a big mistake.
All right. KT McFarland, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, KT.